Read it and weep, Canadians. Canada spent $624.2 billion on COVID, says the pandemic report. This is from June 1st, 2021 by the True North Wire. Now, I kind of did a little bit of digging before I actually made this video. It's actually 659. I don't know why I'm getting 659 billion, but it's within the $600 billion range. Now, and new reports reveals that Canada spent more on COVID pandemic than it had during the entire World War II. Estimates show that between March 2020 and April 2021, Canada spent $624.2 billion on pandemic initiatives. When broken down, Canada spent on average of $1.5 billion every day for the entire year. That actually is what they spent. They spent more than what we did in World War II. I wonder if that's hedged against inflation. Not too sure. But there it is right there. Now, I put this up on our thing, and let's read some people's comments that posted here on the channel and see what they have to say about it. Here it is. Robert saying, watch for a sell-off of national park, libraries, universities, all public assets. Yes. Parks, a lot of our parks and public-private land may be up for grabs. Funny, I didn't get any money. I must have been the only one. Oh, right. My wife didn't get any either. I think Mike is right. 6 generations or roughly 120 years should be about right to work this. Trudeau, I'm not going to read that. This will not end well. Canadians have no choice but to move to solvent countries like Venezuela, says Richard Rodriguez. Then Ricardo says, this is why you should be stacking metals. Then Sean says, now we all need to get a collection. We all need to collect from China. That's a really good reply to that. Because now I'm going to read this and I'm going to give you my opinion. 600 billion that the people never saw because it went straight into the politicians' pockets. Yes, but a good chunk of it came from the IMF metal. So we borrowed that money. We're going to have to pay this money back. That's a lot of money. And this is bigger than any war effort that we've ever put into. So now what? Now we're allowed to state that it is a man-made virus. We talked about fingerprints on the virus in February of 2020 on Mike in the Night, and I got a lot of those videos taken down. We're talking about fingerprints, and we knew it was everyone knows it's man-made, but it was no secret, but we weren't allowed to talk about it. It's like Fight Club. Fight Club doesn't exist, but you can't talk about it, even though it exists, but you can talk about it, but you can't because it doesn't exist. And if it's your first time at Fight Club, you gotta fight. But what's going on here? A lot, guys. Well, here it is. Now what? Who's gonna pay for this? Do we collect from China? Do we declare war on China for misuse or what? But you've got to remember, this goes back to Fauci and Obama administration when they were caught with this COVID stuff in America. They were actually researching and analyzing COVID and bat viruses and all this garbage in America, in American soil. They had to move it to China because it was illegal to actually operate out of America, so they moved it to China, the operations. So who's at fault? Is it the Americans? Is it that level 4 lab in Manitoba? Is it the Canadians? Is it the Americans? I think a lot of people are to blame for this. But then who pays for it now? Who's on the hook? Because I'm very sure that if a country, let's say, I don't know, like the Portuguese did this, they'd be on the hook for it. I don't know, let's say Brazil did this, they'd be on the hook for this, right? A lot of countries would be on the hook for this, and this it would scale to hot war. If Iran did this, they'd be on the hook for this. This will never end if this was Iran. But because it's obviously countries that have the biggest militaries and have to have the most guns that dictate who is what and what is what, but they don't know what is what, they just strut. Now my question to you is, who do we collect from? Who do we blame? Because now we're going to entering the true COVID blame game. The summer of the true COVID blame game 2021, and it's the year of the blood clot, like our scientist came on Mike in the Night to say. It's going to be the year of the blood clot. Anyways, 624 billion that is reported here. I looked it up. It's actually more than 624, but let's say 600 billion for argument's sake. Take a few billion or not. You're looking. I said it's going to take 6 generations. I was wrong. I spoke to somebody. We took Canada. Somebody actually did some math for me and emailed me, and it's 5 generations, not 6 generations. I was wrong. It's going to take 5 generations at the rate of inflation to actually pay back this debt. So, I'm not sure, guys, what to tell you guys about this, because then are we saber rattling now? Are we going to start? Are we going to go into full blown war? Are we going to, like, what happens now? What's the next step here, right? Now that it's, like, I've been saying this for a while now. Now that it's man made, then I've been saying this now. Well, because of the misdiagnosis we got, that jab that we've been giving everyone really doesn't work as well as we thought it would, because we weren't given the proper information if it came from a wet market or it was man-made, and we were told it came from a wet market. And we went off that observation with our science, and we built a serum or a vax for you guys off of that premonition that we had earlier, or the information we were given earlier. That's why now they're going to come out and say, that's why you still get sick after taking the vaccine. Or you could still be getting COVID. So how long are they going to play this on for? I don't know. If we owe the money to the IMF, then who owns the IMF? And who do we, how much VIG or interest rate are we paying? And the sad part is, this was all under administrative bizarro orders. It wasn't law. And I don't know what to tell you guys, to be honest. And the police that played along with this whole thing the whole time, I don't even know what to tell them, to be honest. Like, police and public servants, I don't know. Okay, there is a virus, but how far did we spin it out of control? I'm not doubting there's a virus, but I'm doubting, you know, we were all heavily doubting that it was from a wet lab. Australia went in and wanted to put its 2 cents in, and guess what? They got sanctioned to death by China. One of America and Canada's and England's big allies is getting sanctioned by China. Right now, Australia is in a big cringe, a big problem with the locals are in a big problem, because 30 to 50% in some parts of Australia are entering mortgage crisis because they stopped paying those forbearance or free money. Now, people lost their jobs. People create. I'm not. We're going to talk about this on Mike in the Night. Don't forget to set your reminders for next week's show. Here's a link to last week's show. Go ahead and take a look at last week's show if you get a chance. We did okay. We got Mike in the Nights going back a couple of years now with call-ins and live discussion. Let me know what you guys think. $6.24 billion. Should our taxes go up to pay something that was mismanagement of funds? This huge mismanagement of money that we didn't ask for. I love reading the polls. 97% of Canadians state that they would love to stay inside and wear masks everywhere they go. And 95% of Canadians love the idea of getting a vaccine and a vaccine passport. I don't know who they're talking to, because obviously no one from this channel. I talked enough. I have spoken.